Now, for me, normal people actually scare me, right? So I'm not a normal person. So if somebody called me African booty scratcher, I would just be like, okay, right? There are multiple reasons why I would do that. First of all, I don't have time. Second of all, if anything, if I'm interested at all, then I will ask you, what do you mean,
What do you
right?
mean? Yeah.
Right? And but usually everyone kind of receive, like, since I was a child, my uncles would call me Suberu. They will call
Labels.
me
Yeah. Are you finding the
different
book?
labels, degenerating all day.
Very Twegbe. Yeah.
All you said Swagger in the book, right? All these things are derogatory, and it is what it is, But I think it's just a culture. It's a terrible culture on both ends of it. We take on words that we don't understand the meaning, and we start using it.
You bring up I didn't expect this to come up. So there is a friend of ours who actually has listened to the audiobook, and he left Nigeria when he was 3.
Wait, you have an audiobook? Who read it? You did?
Yeah, I did.
Awesome. I like it.
I put enough into this book, I'm telling you.
You better go all in. That's what I did too. Yeah.
So, because on the audiobook, sometimes I had to agree that I should do it. The way I think of these dialogue in the book, I have to be explaining to you to say the way I thought it was said. And that just takes time. So in the end, I decided, let me just read this thing myself. What was I? Yeah. So this friend left Nigeria when I was 3. So he's more to the US. He's more American than Nigerian. One of the comments he made when he finished the book, he said, "There's this thing about our culture where we just naturally default to aggression in how we talk to people. So it doesn't matter whether it's the kids in school talking to each other, all the terms you use, the adults used for you. I mean, the teachers, one of our teachers was famous, and I put it in the book, for just calling everybody Suberu. Like Suberu, yes, yeah. Suberu, that. I mean, it's just the label that she used for everyone,
Everybody.
It's not a great term. Yeah. And then the kids will have their own versions. When I decided to use one of our lingos in the book. If a senior wants you to get out of their sight, right? They will say Kuwait out of here,
right,
or Iraq out of here, and because we were linked to the Gulf War at the time, it's just boring words that you just have to use it to just go to an extreme to describe something, to lay something heavy on someone. So, on the West, I think I understand why people who have enough burden of legacy of slavery, and let me declare here, I think we, I think African Americans and the Caribbean people in the UK, maybe they begin to realize that we who are born and bred in Africa, we don't fully. We're not immersed in the slavery thing. We're also having to do a bit of, let me understand the plight you guys went through. So it's not our story. So we're also having to kind of sympathize a lot more. So when someone calls, especially today, if someone wants to call me a nigger, I just look at you, I kind of feel it doesn't work. It's not the same. Like I don't feel it.
You don't feel it like that.
So, however, for someone who this really cuts deep, I can see why they will try to reverse engineer it to make it feel like, because I can maybe use this word or own it, I'm going to reduce the power that you may have over me. I'm trying to remember the famous author Coates, who said, in a response to a question by a white lady about, why are Black people sometimes overreacting to someone who may want to use some of these words that someone put in a rap. And they basically said, look, you guys need to realize that just because you're English or you came up with the word doesn't give you the right to believe that you have a monopoly on every word on the planet. And now for the first time, you see what it feels like to have limitations like Black people have. So, because, he was saying that if his wife used a derogatory term in her group of women, that he can't use those words. So it's not unique that if there's a word that a group of people kind of hijack and say it's derogatory, but we're going to basically use it to prevent you guys from using it. Tough. You just have to sit in your corner. But as I said, for Africans, there's a limit to how much of these stones can break my bone.
In your opinion,
sorry, it's just.
In your opinion, who is more of which group of people are more of the victim of colonialism and the white man? Is it the descendant of slaves that were shipped overseas, or people that were retained in Africa?
In a way, it's both, but to different extents. So the guys who were shipped across, it's both an injustice from both that were done to them from both the colonialists as well as the guys who basically sold them out, right? Sold them on, sorry. Mm-hmm. So both contributed to it. It's just that the incentive to encourage the slave trade was more on the white side. I'm just sorry. There's just no. In fact, why am I even say sorry? It's just the way it is.
It is what it is.
but what Britain and many Western countries did to Africa and many other continents or countries is to sow enough seeds of discord and dissent, and that's really why it is very hard for some of these countries, including Nigeria, to easily accelerate their development. Yes, it's still in their hands and they have to take responsibility, blah, 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 but it's because of the seed that was sown early on that the division still is causing us problems today. So we may not be slave descendants, blah, 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 and therefore maybe we have more opportunities to kind of look forward and be able to make progress if you choose to. I read to someone who is always a minority everywhere they look in the US or wherever, but we have our own problems. You know, if you travel to Nigeria with your kids, you will eventually hear them respond and say something like, they know they don't feel different because you're just one of the billions, it feels like, that's just rolling around. You don't have this sense of I'm a bit different. Whereas here, even if you're in a multicultural city initially, you just need to drive out a bit, and very quickly you realize that the light is on you. So we've all lost something.
We've all lost something. So that's why, for me, it's always a losing battle when you get in the argument of who is more of the victim. It's like, absolutely. Okay, everyone, victims, especially people that operate in low vibration for most of their time, they're gonna feel like they're the victim. It's more natural for an average human being, I hate to say it, it's natural for them to label themselves as the most victim. Right? Absolutely. So if you want to rise above that or be a leader in the society, you really can't operate in that level. But to each his own, you know. Let's get back to this, right?